Good morning, participants. Thank you for joining in today's follow-on open house on UCC aspects of direct payouts, including updation of account type field in UCC database client codes to be tagged as own, client, or error, and also about Demat account validation also. Earlier, as most of you are aware, we have already uploaded a YouTube video explaining the detailed nuances surrounding this topic. So today we are not going to cover the aspects and explanation in detail. This session is dedicated towards answering your queries and questions, which we can do in maximum number. So straight away, we'll be after explaining the summary, we'll be moving to Q&A. So please start typing your questions with me to address the queries. We have my colleagues from investigation and UCC team, Ms. Shanti Idnani, Mr. Himanshu Bucha, Mr. Ashish Tiwari. Again, they are here with us. So please keep typing your questions. And without a further ado, I request Shanti to just give a summary brief and we can start answering your questions after that. You can use the Q&A window to type in your queries. Over to you, Shanti.
Thank you, Jara. Good morning, friends. To give you a brief overview of what our main topic is today, as we are all aware, direct payout phase 2 is going live from Monday. So for that, I thought let us have a small refresher sort of a thing. What is expected on Monday? So as we know, direct payout phase 1 has gone live in February, and we are running smoothly. So what is the difference between a phase 1 and phase 2? In the direct payout, we are validating all the Demat accounts, primary Demat account fields, which you are giving us, and we are sending it to the repositories based on the revert from them, whether it is valid, invalid. The status which comes from them is is going to come back to you. So based on that, in phase 2, what we are going to do is wherever it is invalid, that means wherever the repositories are giving us a feedback that the Demat account that you have provided in the primary indicator is invalid, as in it is not valid. Suppose it can be for multiple reasons. For example, it could be for a reason where you've not given me a primary holders Demat account. So to make it valid, as we are aware, it has to be a primary holders Demat account. So if it is my UCC, the Demat account that I'm providing as primary should be where I am the primary holder, not the secondary holder. So these are the parameters. Now, see, we've covered the entire bit. We've most of the brokers, I must appreciate, have given us the appropriate information. Only the last mile is left. That also a very few, but still there are people left, and hence from Monday onwards, wherever it is invalid, first primary Demat account is invalid in the cash market segment, those UCCs will not be allowed to trade in the market. So if we have to, we have to ensure that all the UCCs which are expected to trade, which trade should be validated. You should get the validated status. To assist you, what we've been doing is we have been downloading the valid invalid consolidated file on a daily basis. So the trading members are getting that information. Second, secondly, uh, recently we have also been giving you separate mailers identifying these factors. There is another aspect which I wanted to highlight. So there are certain exceptions to this rule that which are going to be marked as permitted, which are not going to be marked as not permitted. So the exceptions are where the TM code is equal to client code. Those UCCs will be marked as will be eliminated from this rule of being marked as not permitted. Yeah, that is one for the trading member. The second is where the trading member own PAN is there in the PAN. UCC is error. Okay. In that, Jwalant, what will happen is there is a client type field. Okay. That has to be necessarily tagged as error because based on the client type, if the UCC is error, if the UCC account type is error, those things, even if it is not Demat account is not validated, that will be considered as an exception. If you've not tagged it, you will not be permitted. That particular UCC will become not permitted to trade. So what will happen? Any trades which you want to transfer to error to that particular UCC, you will not be able to transfer. So there is a request. Update proper validated Demat accounts so that the UCC doesn't become invalid, and update the error. Update the account type with error. Now, why? There is another circular, if you remember, in 23, which investigation had released out, which was stated that if a member does not have an error account in any segment, it will be considered as a violation and you will be penalized with 10,000 per month.
Okay.
So we need to avoid that. Now, see, earlier what was happening is that we were going by the client code as error. It should be error percent or a error combination of a percentage. So, and or in the client name, the name of the UCC where it could be XYZ Broking Limited error account. So by that, but come April 24th, that is also not possible because it has to the name has to be exactly equal as to the PAN card. So that is also not available. Now what we are going to do is we are going to refer to only the account type field for error. So if it is tagged, if you have actually marked it as error, tagged it as error, then only it will be considered as not a violation. Otherwise, it will be considered as a violation for any segment. Even if suppose you're trading in three segments, C, F, and X. You've tagged it in C and F, but in X you've not tagged, it will be considered as a violation for that particular segment. So you have to now ensure that we do not end up with penalties, which is 10,000, which is not a small amount, right? So these are the small things. The other aspect that we just to come back to direct payout aspect, whichever are CP settled UCCs, institutional UCCs belonging to institutional clients or depository receipts, these are considered as exemptions. So what will happen is if your Demat account is not validated, your CM segment will be marked as not permitted to trade only. Okay, only CM segment. The other segments including futures and options, commodity derivatives, the currency derivatives, all those segments, we will not mark it as NPD. But you need to ensure that Demat accounts are validated, even in the futures and option segment and other futures and option segment. So it's a request that see, very few people are left now. The count has drastically come down. I must appreciate, brokers are doing their bit. Last mile बचा है, Monday है, आज जो करना है खत्म करो please, so that we can have a smooth transition and we are good to go for Monday. This is the last mile. Let's roll out.
Sure. Thank you, Shanti, for briefing the summary. Now we have already received some questions which we'll start addressing, and by the time other participants also can type in. Very first question is UCC codes of clients where it is custodian settled and whose account type is blank. Would there be an impact with effect from 7 July?
No.
Answer is no, right? Okay. Yes, Imanshu.
Correct CP details. Custodian details should be correct.
Okay.
Then the account type won't be impacted.
Okay. So the correctness part they have to ensure. If it is correct, then there won't be any
See,
impact.
the basic rule of UCC is it has to have an accurate information. If it's not accurate information, we will not be able to help out.
Okay. Next question is we have tagged the error and own account now. Is it mandatory to tag client account also? Can we have the untagged UCC list?
So specifically, own an error account is for specifically own an error account is mandatory, and as of now, client is account type client is not mandatory. But
see, account type client is not mandatory for the direct payout per se. But we would request you that by and by wherever account type is blank, as client type for client is blank, please keep updating all those fields also.
Okay.
And that is available in the full file. So separately giving everything, it is available.
So it is already available with them. Okay. Next question is we have already opened error account in NSE in all segments. Whether are we required to open such error account in BSE in all segments?
If you're trading in BSE, I think that's something which you can ask BSE. But error account, you've opened error account and you've rightfully tagged it as error. That tagging is important, please mind you. Till now, we were going by the client code as error. Now, tagging of error is important. So
but still, they need to reach out to the concerned entity. Okay.
yes, because we can't come.
Sure. Next question is where account type should be client. If it is not updated, will it impact trading on 7 July? Same question, which we have already answered. Second is we are handling only pro trading and do not have any clients. Is it necessary to open error account in UCC portal?
Ashish?
So it is not necessary if you are not having any client registered. So if you do not have any active client registered at NSE, you don't have to open error account.
Okay. Next is from Akansha Pandey. Are there any changes in the new account journey due to this type account type change?
This account type change has not happened now. It's there since more than a year. So there's no new change. The
So
only new change which will come out with effect from Monday is your the parameters which are required for a UCC to become permitted to trade. One more parameter has been added is a valid demat account in cash market segment.
So she was specifically asking whether any changes in journey is there or not. So for the new account opening. Okay. Okay. Next is how broker is penalized if any of six attributes is missing in one of the criteria.
So six at the client will not be permitted.
It will not be permitted to trade. Okay. In future, will it be a mandate to update the client account type also?
Yes. So as of now, whenever new records are getting created, client type is mandatory. You have to update. You have to upload that.
In future also, that is what the person is asking. Okay. Next one is, can we get a list of clients marked active in NSE UCC but not marked default DP details?
Default DPDTC, we've been downloading all the records on a daily basis. So you can refer those files.
On daily basis, members get a file
Mhm.
where they have all the DP details, active, inactive, and closed, which have all the valid and invalid details. So specifically, all the members get at the end of the day, and the file name and the path has been shared via
Okay.
circular.
So
So
specifically
May
in
26th, if you refer the circular,
Mhm.
friends, if you refer to the May 26th circular, there we have given you a path that this is the file name, this is the path where you'll get the file for valid and invalid. It is a cumulative file which contains valid and invalid.
Okay. Next is whether exchange is sending the file related to clients not marked as primary Demat account. If yes, where on email or any portal they can find this?
What they're asking is primary payment field as primary has not been tagged. So if you remember, friends, right when we had initiated this process, this journey of direct payouts last year, we had said that we had requested all you guys to mark the respective primary demat accounts, and wherever it was not marked, we had gone and so moved to mark the first demat account as primary.
Okay, wherein in the same question, again, the participant is saying few of the trading accounts are currently inactive and the linked client Demat accounts are not valid. The clients have also not executed any trades recently. Kindly confirm whether any penalty is applicable in such cases.
No penalties.
That's on it.
Okay.
See, the main rule is the client should be able to trade, so he has to be marked as active. The demat accounts have to be validated, apart from the other six KYC attributes.
Okay. Next question is in UCC, if there is only one Demat is mapped and it's valid also, is it necessary to tag him under primary indicator or by default it will be treated as primary
You
indicator?
have to tag him as primary.
So yes, members are required to tag them as primary. There is no default tagging, right?
No,
Okay. Next, the Demat account was previously frozen, but now that the freeze has been removed, the DP validation status on the UCI portal shows that the account is still frozen. The portal expects the number to update the DP details again to reflect the latest status. That is what he is explaining. Now, here comes the question. It will be difficult to update this every time. We expect the system to automatically read the latest status without requiring the member to update the data again.
so as on date, you are requested to update because it comes to you as a when the status is unfrozen. So we will take this feedback and we'll work on it. But
Okay.
as on date for the journey, please do it yourself.
Sure. Next question is, while the client is active as per our internal records, the status shared by your end, that is NSC, includes remarks such as account frozen, BON PAN not matching, or invalid. How is it possible or how it can be possible? That is what he wants to know.
So that is the status which comes from the depositories. So you could connect to the depositories for other reasons. Because we are not, as I had stated earlier, so whatever the deposit, we send the depository details with the PAN to to both the depositories. They validate with the status and give it to us.
So these statuses also are coming from then and we are reflecting that,
It
right?
is populating.
Okay, sure. Next question is only the cash segment will be marked as not permitted to trade or all the segments? Only cash segment, right? Okay. Next question is even though the DP1 status in UCI portal shows as valid, we have still received the shares into our pool. This has occurred multiple times in the past, including yesterday.
We'll take this down and we'll inform the clearing corporations because for us it is we do send the data to the clearing corporation.
Okay.
So it's them who transfers.
Though, I mean, the question is okay. The question is posted as anonymous. So in case they want to share further details, they can write on uci@nsc.co.in. So we request the participant to share further details because this question is not elaborating on the details. Next question is error code mandated for SLB segment? We are unable to add error code for SLB segment in UCI portal. Same pen available in the segment is showing.
So SLBM is actually handled by Clearing Corporation. So you'll have to get in touch with Clearing Corporation for this clarification.
Okay. Next is what is the frequency of status exchange takes from depository?
It's uh, it's real time, like it's a API based request.
Okay. Next is can we have data only related to active and DP is not valid, frozen, other such reasons? I mean, only those instances probably they require as a list. Is it possible?
We will see as on date, we are sending out separate mailers, but as a regular process, we are in the process of preparing those.
Okay.
But as on date, you have a consolidated.
Okay, so in that case, and any such instances which require action today from them, they'll have to do it.
They'll have to. And
Okay.
it's coming on a daily basis. So
Okay.
we just have to need to take it up to identify records from which are invalid.
Sure. So, Mr. Rajesh, we request you to take necessary action today to avoid any issues for 7 July impact that is going to come. For future, definitely the team has taken a feedback and they may check for the feasibility. Next is in a day, how many times exchange will send to depository to check the status of BOID, which probably you have just answered, right? It is as good as near real time, right?
Whenever you upload the UCC, at that time, or whenever you're modifying a DP detail, at that time the data is automatically sent to the depositories for validation. So it's a real time. We are using it via API, not a file based system.
Okay. Next question is, if we update the account type, is there possibility that account shifted to not permitted to trade? And if yes, it can happen, then what could be the reason for that?
So, see, it's not just the updation of account type. If you're touching a record, if your 6 KYC attributes are not proper, it may trigger to a record being marked as not permitted. So whenever you're making modifications or you're touching account type, request you to please check the various parameters which are essential for making a record as permitted to trade, specifically the 6 KYC.
Okay. And is it possible, Shanti, that this question he is referring to today in case they are making any changes and it can change to not permitted to trade?
It's an online thing to
Okay.
any given point of time.
Any given point of time,
It's not nothing new. It's
Okay.
nothing new.
Sure. Next is if in a particular client account type is not marked as client, will it be not permitted to trade from now on? Answer is no.
If client's Demat account is invalid,
Okay.
or other carry which is not validated, then only it will be marked as a not permitted.
Okay. Otherwise, in normal circumstances, there should.
The client details are valid. Demat details are valid. Everything just because client account type, not client type. Account type is not mapped as client,
Mhm.
it will not be marked as not permitted.
Okay. Have we committed? Okay, huh. So the participant is asking whether such communications are conveyed to the clients also or not. This particular changes which are happening, are they be communicating to clients also from our side?
We had issued a press release, but we expect brokers to communicate to their clients.
Okay. So they should be taking extra precautions to convey.
See, this is going on since a long time. The phase two would be where records will be marked as not permitted, is there since last year.
Mhm.
So, phase one implementation happened on in the month of February, and phase two now, which was to happen in May, we have shifted to August to July 7th, so that wherever is the backlog, we can clarify and handle it.
Okay. Next question is in case of proprietary trading, client code has been assigned as member code and account type is own. Is it okay? and DP account status is showing as validated. Is it okay or not? It is okay, right? Okay, thanks. If in any case primary demat account is suspended, can we suspend the trading account by intimating the client if the client does not provide necessary details for unfreezing of the demat account? Can they do it?
The regulatory.
Okay.
So it's there as
That's
per
their-
their regulations.
Okay, so member has to take that regulatory call. Okay. After 7th July, if any UCC is updated with primary DP details during trading, whether exchange will allow trading of such client immediately or not.
Next day.
Next.
So that thumb rule remains. Whatever is validated today, if it's a new thing, we'll be able to trade tomorrow up to 10
Okay.
p.m. in the night.
So as in next trading day, right? Okay. Okay. How can we validate the invalid UCC?
Invalid UCC. What do you mean?
He has just mentioned that particular question only. So I mean, sir, because the question is not much clear.
So we can just reiterate
Okay.
facts. Is that we have to ensure your PAN is correct, your client name is correct, so that and the date of birth is correct. So I get a PAN validation status is yes. Your 6 KYC attributes are correct, which include the 6 KYC attributes are included as the PAN, client name, mobile number, email ID, address, and gross income or net worth. So if these parameters are correct, now again, next thing is primary demat account is validated, then the use and the KRA is also not on hold. You can update the UCC and trade.
Okay. Next question is, do we need to tag error account as error for segment which we have already surrendered? I mean, the segment itself is surrendered. Then it is not mandatorily required. Okay. Then the next question is how and when we should update exchange that the DP has now become valid. What will be the time interval and will it be uploaded or an email will be sent?
Once you will modify the Demat account details,
Mhm.
automatically it will, as I said earlier also, that it will automatically go for the validation. And as soon as it will get validated, it will reflect on the UCF mode.
Okay, so
Trading will always happen on the next day.
okay, so interval part we have addressed, and he was asking whether they need to upload or send an email or something.
They need to upload.
They need to upload it. Okay. Next is in list shared by exchange that is valid, invalid, PAN not matching, client ID not matching. Such kind of status are mentioned. Should we only work on not valid or we should consider the entire list other than valid?
Entire list other than valid.
Okay, so they need to see each and every reason other than valid and they need to act upon that.
Yes.
Okay. Next is can we receive the invalid Demat account data file from exchange and how much time to validate the Demat account?
Specifically, exchange is working on it,
Mhm.
and the invalid and valid Demat account files will be shared shortly.
That is a separately, but as on today, we are
As on
sending a
date,
full
as on
file
date, the-
which contains valid and invalid data. So
Okay.
we will refer to that.
Okay,
And this has been going on since some time.
sure. Next question is again surrounding SLB. Why is DP status validation not required for SLB segment?
It's there for direct payout, phase
Mhm.
two,
Mhm.
and for phase one, capital market and futures and option is there. So specifically, we are focusing right now for the capital market segment for phase two.
Okay.
So only phase in the phase two, CM segment will be marked as invalid.
Okay.
Not permitted to trade.
Not permitted to trade. Okay. Next question is Mr. Ajay. He's asking if client isn't permitted to trade file and client BOID is not validated at exchange level. In that case, client can trade or any penalty will be applicable.
The status which we have received from the depositories BOID is not validated.
Mhm.
Then the client will not be permitted to trade. But if the client if you're saying that the Demat account has not been validated,
So he has mentioned that client shows as permitted to trade under the file and client BOID is not validated.
As of today, it is permitted to trade. I assume if the UCC is permitted to trade
Mhm.
and DP details are incorrect. This is as of today. But after 7 July, if our DP detail
From-
is from 7 July, if their DP details is invalid or B or PAN doesn't match, then specifically the UCC won't be permitted to trade.
Okay. Okay, and he has mentioned about whether any penalty will be applicable. Any comments on that? Okay. Going forward, will exchange consider KRA status, which is validated or registered before UCC is marked as PTT or NPTT?
The KRA should be a format until we see subsequent circulars.
Okay, so till that particular time, in case any changes are published, till that time.
Yeah, so
Okay.
if there is any change, we always issue circulars.
Sure.
Intimate the market and post that we do.
Okay. If client depository UCC not validated and client has permitted to trade, then in that case, client has done trade, then where the payout will go?
So as of now, this process is there, even if the Demat account is not validated, customer can trade. So the Demat, whatever the transaction he has done, it is going to the member's pool account.
Okay.
Going forward, as explained by the Himanshu also, from 7 onwards, he will, if Demat account is not validated, he will not be able to trade.
No, so he's asking about where the payout will go in this particular
So
instance.
he will not be able to trade, so in cash segment then.
Okay.
Payout field will not
Okay.
miss.
Okay. Understood. Next is, as you confirm, single demat in UCC needs to be mapped as primary. Is there any file format to update primary indicator for demat and UCC, or do we have to do it via modification file?
So they have circulated a master circular on 30th April. So circular number was 67779.
Okay.
So there we have all the file format. So in the bulk upload or the specifically modification file format, you can just refer it. What are the parameters? You can just use it and upload the details.
Okay, so you are saying it has to be done through modification file, because his specific question is there any specific format for primary indicator update, or they have to refer through modification file format only? Modification file format. Okay. Next is from Mr. Suketu. We have a DP account which used to hold securities for clients as margins when it was allowed. Some ISIN we suspended so we could not return and close the account. Now the ISIN are active and we have to transfer the securities to clients, but the reason code is margin returned by stockbroker is not accepted by NSDL. Can you please suggest the reason code that we can use to enable the off-market transfer to clients?
I think this they can take with the depository.
Okay, sir, you have to take it ahead with the depository, and they may be able to guide you further for the further course. In the depository, which is CDSL, there is a universal freeze flag that can apply to debit, credit, or both. If a client has put on debit freeze, which is selling not allowed, but can still buy shares, which is no credit freeze, the NSE DP validation will show account is frozen. This may lead to unnecessary marking the UCC as NPTT as the DP status is invalid. So basically, he is raising a concern.
First of all, these status are being received from depositories.
Mhm.
So about the credit sales and the debit of the purchases about the shares. So this is given by the depositories. Nothing has been taken action by exchange it. If anything, they need to reach out, then the depository would be a better one to answer this.
Okay. Now, next question is if CCD underscore DEPOS underscore status is valid in exchange, but account type is blank. PPT is also allowed, then in that case, account type needs to be updated or not.
So as we had stated, see account type for as on date is mandate. See account type is a mandatory field, but if it is blank because the records were created up earlier and it is belonging to a client, it is not own an error. It is belonging to a client. As on date, we are not taking any action on that.
Okay. Next is error account name in UCC. A company name. I mean, basically, he's just trying to portray error account name in UCC. Company name is error account and account type marked as error. I guess he is referring to typo probably because account type marked as EROOR. Is this correct or not? That is what he is just asking. We are not sure whether it is actual typo he has done or in the question he has done a mistake.
be great if the specific member just mails it to the UCI@nec.co.in.
Okay.
So we would just cross check and we'll get back to them.
Sure. So please write to uci@nsc.co.in. Please try to mention some elaborative details so that team can reach back and answer your query. If UPI status is selected as yes, how much time does the exchange usually take to validate it? We opened an account on 1st July with UPI status marked as yes, but the validation is still pending. The current status continue to show as pending.
And this is specifically set across UPI.
Yes, please, because it is a very specific case.
And UPI, I think UPI records are, these are all online, so it's an API based, so there's
Okay.
So if there's a specific case, let's have it.
Please, and try to share, the details so that team can find out and reach back to you. Do we need to map or register the static IP for all AP? I guess that is not pertaining to today's topic. So please accordingly reach out to concerned team. Today we cannot address during this forum. Person is asking to repeat if in a particular client account type is not marked as client, will it be not permitted to trade from now on? That was earlier question where we answered. He wants us to repeat the answer.
Yeah, so if account type is not like for the client, like it's a previous account, previous records which you have created, and your Demat account is valid, and your all carry parameters are also validated, then it will be marked as permitted to trade. You will be able, client will be able to trade. And if it Demat account or any KYC parameter is not validated, then it will be marked as not permitted to trade. So you will not be able to trade.
Okay. Next question is the UPI status is still showing as pending. We would like to correct this by changing the OPT for UPI status from Y to N. I mean, OPT, he mentions option. However, we are unable to make this change due to status is pending. Kindly guide on how to get this done.
What are the bank details they have put in? So that would be
So like how with depositories, we are asking for primary indicators, same with the banks, we are asking primary indicators, so that those bank account details are then sent to the sponsored banks for verifying the status, and we send then give a status of valid invalid. So in this particular case, I would again ask the member to just send us a mail on uci@nsc.co.in. We will have a look at it and we'll come.
Because that may be dependent on other factors also that is not happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any bulk updation utility in respect of client type as client? I mean, any bulk updation utility they are asking? Okay, so bulk file is there, but there is no separate utility as such. Under the same portal using the same bulk file format, they can do it. Okay. Next is from Mr. Rajesh. If status are taken through API in such cases, data mismatch case, in case of data mismatch cases, which are coming and various queries are raised by other members, as we have come across cases, data shared on second shows frozen. When we checked in UCC portal, or third, it shows valid. I mean, basically, he's trying to say on particular day, it is showing as frozen, and next day, it is showing as valid. Any time gap on updating through API?
So once you have updated the Demat account, it is that's real time it is going through API. And the second time, if you will do any modification, then only we'll send it for the further validation. So what you are saying, if it was frozen, and if you have done any modification, then again we'll send it for the validation, and then we'll get a valid status. Then we'll update as a valid status.
Okay, and in case they have not done any modification and this happened, so specific case, they can write to team and team will check and come back. Okay, which portal we can see where not permitted to trade Demat accounts are shown? That is what he has mentioned, but basically he wants to refer to not permitted to trade codes probably. Yes. So which portal he is mentioning? So it is our same portal only, right? Sure. Okay.
You can refer to the May 26 earlier circulars as well, but specifically May 26 circular also provides that.
Okay, sure. Next question is what will happen to those accounts which are marked as frozen or suspended in UCC invalid file from NSC, but they are active as per depository live database. Will those be put under not permitted?
If Demat account is not valid, status is not valid, like invalid, then only we will mark it as a not permitted.
Okay, but he has mentioned about depository live database showing as valid, active.
So he has to do modification. So once you do modification, then we'll again reshift to the depositories. We'll get the latest status, and we'll update the UCC report accordingly.
Okay. If client is mutual fund category institutional client, primary DP details is must for that UCC or not? Okay. Okay. Name is as per PAN card is allowed, or we need to mention, I mean, he is asking if the name as per PAN card is allowed, or they need to mention name as per IT database, that is income tax database.
We've given an option.
Okay. And that too, he is asking to open a new UCC.
That option is there.
Okay. Option is there which they can select. Okay. If CCD underscore DPOS underscore status is valid in exchange, but account type is blank, this I guess we have already answered, right? PPT is allow, then okay. Sure, this was already answered. If primary is valid, but secondary is invalid, what will be the impact, and will the code be NPTT or not?
No, it will not be marked.
Okay, so Mr. Sulai, the answer is no.
Provided primary is valid.
So he has specifically mentioned primary is valid and secondary is invalid.
Primary is invalid, the secondary is invalid.
Correct.
It will be invalid.
No, he has specifically mentioned, so we assume that primary is valid.
Secondary is valid, it will be not permitted. Primary has to be valid.
Okay, so thanks for that additional clarity also, Shanti. One of our client has given Demat details of another DP, but now the Demat details are inactive of the client. So can we mark that client as inactive for trading as well?
Better we only mark it as inactive. So it's better if we only mark it, the broker only marks it as inactive, so that there is no confusion.
Okay. Is there any issue? If there is an issue in primary Demat mapped, can we freeze or still not active? Will be still, I mean, he's asking if there is an issue with primary Demat map. So can they freeze, or it will be not allowed to trade, or it will be allowed to trade? What will be the case?
Like earlier on, so we have said by from 7th of July, anything which is not, I mean, the DP details are invalid, or any BO PAN or post holder is not matching, would be marked as not permitted to trade. With including all the 6 KYC attributes and the KRA status have been checked, the system will be automatically checking the DP details also, and would be marking them as a PTD or NPT specific.
Okay. Next is if broker are trading in own account, that is pro trade only, then any need of error account probably, which we have answered, or still you want to just mention quickly, Ashish?
So if you don't have any client registered and there is only pro trading, so you need not open an error account.
Okay. Next one is if Demat becomes valid and it is already updated in UCC, then it will auto populated under PTT, or they have to intimate to exchange via email.
No, automatically it will update it.
Okay. Okay. Then the next question is, how frequently is the permitted to trade status file updated or released?
That is the same frequency as on date also, twice a day.
If you can just quickly repeat in case that is a new member.
As on date also, what happens is we run the permitted to trade status twice on a daily basis. What is considered for next day's trading is the night file.
Okay. Next is regarding Sikkim client. We have recently updated the DP primary flag and account type client in exchange through modification. With these changes in place, NSE will again be asking for the KYC and proof details or not.
Any Sikkim details have been verified. If any Sikkim details have been verified, specifically their address has been verified, and then they have updated the DP details and specifically, then no need to just rerun the cycle about the 6 KYC attributes and other things.
Okay. Participants, we still have some more questions, and we like to cover those questions looking at the changes which are happening. So we'll be taking some more minutes. If single Demat is mapped to UCC and Demat is not validated, then what happens and how to get it validated?
If Demat account is not valid, then as from 7th onwards, it will be marked as not permitted trade.
So make changes in the Demat account so that they can get validated.
Okay.
Because if it's not valid, means there is some issue which is not validated. Take changes. One more thing which I would want to reiterate, which I've been saying in the earlier presentations also, is that open the UCC only when your Demat account is active. Because if you if you open the UCC simultaneously and the Demat account is not active, we will get an invalid status and the client will not be able to trade. So to avoid this problem, it is necessary that once a Demat account is open, please, and it is active, then only open your UCC.
Sure. If there is a minor mismatch like spelling or surname in PAN and Aadhaar, can we open the client's account?
The PAN and Aadhaar, what happens today is when we get this name and PAN, we send it for validation. So as per the income tax rules, now the name has to be exactly equal with either with the income tax site or with the PAN card. So please ensure that is followed.
Okay. If client have physical delivery in FO segment and Demat not validated, then will they receive the payout in pool?
Immediately, we are only focusing in capital market segment in phase 2.
So if you want, you should ensure that, that's the reason we had issued a circular sometime on January, in the month of January, that if the F&O segment is not basically the F&O segment also needs to be validated. Ensure that F&O Demat accounts are validated so that the delivery can happen in the respective client account.
Okay.
That they need to ensure. We are only marking it not permitted trade in the F&O cash segment, because there may be clients who want to trade only in index derivatives, and we do not want to restrict.
Okay.
So it's the member's responsibility to ensure.
Okay. What type of transaction can be executed in error UCC?
Error cannot be used for transacting anything. So primarily error is used only to transfer trades on which client has made a mistake or dealer has made a mistake. It can only be used to square off the trades. So whenever you are transferring any trade into error account, from error account you can only do the square off or liquidation.
Okay. Next one is we are getting repeated email for to tag own an error account for segment which we already surrendered. I guess earlier also the same person asked, and we had sent email to investigation department and UCC also. They are saying that we had to do surrender segment as it is not showing at their end, and rupees 10,000 will be levied or not before post this changes.
So if you surrendered the segment, then
specifically is mentioning they have sent communication where we are saying that it is not showing surrendered at our end.
so I think they can send it.
You can send an email for surrender and the application is not yet closed, means there are certain procedures, right? They'll check for many NOCs and everything. So by the time your membership is not surrendered finally, we expect that members should hold this error account. As soon as the status is final and it is surrendered at exchange and also the requirement goes away.
Okay, and he is also asking in case it is not showing surrendered, in that case the penalty of 10,000 will be applicable or not effective July 7th.
So as of now, even if a member sends an email stating that they have made an application for surrender, so we do not levy penalty.
Ashish, can you just repeat the email IDs to avoid any confusion?
It's dl-ccm-invsg@nsc.co.in.
Okay, thank you, Ashish. Moving to next question. Old Demat account which is in frozen status and holding is lying in the same. Clients are not providing the Demat account and script are also not tradable. What requires to be done in that case from our end? Okay. Next, Mr. Jay is asking the UCC mentioned in today's DP status file were not the part of yesterday's DP status file. If this, so basically, probably he's trying to highlight an instance where yesterday's file and today's file are having different data. Okay, so Mr. Jai, if you can just send across the mail details on UCC, uci@nsc.co.in, and team will check and come back. Next is only primary teammate account validation checking for mark as not permitted to trade. I mean, he is asking whether it will be the case.
Yes, so now we are checking only cash segment and primary Demat account, if it is valid, then will be allowed to permit it.
Okay. Is it mandatory to upload error account in SLB segment? Again, same question, because we are not able to add error into SLB segment due to an error as PAN already exists. So this question was already answered, participant. Account is permitted to trade and DP validated, but after some time, client changed his name in income tax without intimation. So whether any penalty for TM will be applicable in such cases?
Specifically, we focus on the PAN and the DP details. With that, the depository give the validation status. If you are, if the UCC is a PAN exempt case, then the name and the DP details would be going to the specific depository. That would be giving us a validation.
Okay, because you were saying that client has changed the name without intimation. So even member is not aware. In that case, he is worried if any penalty will be applicable.
As on it, that's not.
Next, Ms. Kavita is asking just to repeat the circulars we have mentioned, the important circulars which they need to refer, maybe related to this changes as well as the file format circular. If you can just repeat, Himanshu.
So specifically, first of all, is the master circular, which was released on 30th April 2025, which was 67779. And the latest circular, which for the direct payout, you can refer of 30th June, updation of account type, and the recent ones of 2nd July, that was 68910.
Okay. Now, next one is uh, just a second. Can KYC registered clients are allowed to trade KYC registered clients?
That, of course, six KYC attributes have been done, and other statuses which have been prerequisite sites for UCC to be permitted to trade. If they are all fulfilled, then the
As the
UCC.
KRA has not given us as on hold. If they are registered or validated, then it's okay.
Okay. If in a particular client account type is not marked as client, will it be not permitted to trade from now on? We have already answered, right? We are institutional broker. All clients are custodian settled. We have received list in which BO and PAN not matching. Those clients will not be able to trade from Monday onwards. That is what he is asking. Whether we'll get account type column in UCC dump so that we can do the correction. Second part, I guess we have already answered, right? He is asking whether those clients will be permitted or not permitted from Monday onwards.
Institutional clients are exempted from
Okay.
from the NPTT.
Because he has mentioned that they have received list in which VO and PAN not matching cases are there. Okay. Next is if it is account type not updated, UCC will again, we have answered that, sir. DP status is requiring to be updated for inactive clients also. That also we have answered, right? Okay. Next is how to get the file of client codes where primary or secondary indicator is not updated. Please confirm the option or exchange provides the list in such cases.
So you can refer to the file which of DP details we have been sending on daily basis in the EOD.
Okay.
So there you can find all the valid, invalid, and the data.
And I mean, he's again asking if primary indicator is not updated, will it impact from 7 July or not?
Yeah.
That we have answered. Okay, that will impact. What type of transactions can be executed in error account? We have already answered. What should be the account activation timing so that there will be no problem in DPID validation?
See, whichever record is marked as permitted to trade up to around 10 p.m. will be permitted to trade next day.
Okay. Can you please share client list which are to be frozen or not permitted to trade for the reason of Demat account validation or account type? That we have already given. They can refer to that. Client has open position on FNO, has security pledge, but exchange has suspended the UCC. And some other trading member has updated the UCC with reason being demise. What treatment shall be given to such cases? So basically, he's asking client already is having open position in FNO. He already has security pledge right now with clearing corporation also, but the exchange has suspended the UCC. Now, second part, he is saying that some other trading member has updated the UCC with the reason being demise. That client has already, I mean, passed away. What treatment shall be given to such cases?
Whichever cases we receive as demise, we are just intimating to the trading members that this client has demised and he needs to take action. So, as per the master circular for which had the subject of centralized demise reporting mechanism, the trading members are required to ensure that they take adequate due diligence for handling such cases.
Okay, we are again receiving questions related to SLBM, which we have already answered. Next is in NPT file, exact reason. Can you provide for us to activate the clients accordingly?
See, we are giving a field for PAN valid.
Mm-hmm.
We are giving a field for
KYC.
KYC invalid. Then KRA invalid. So you just need to take filters and find out.
Correct. Next question is again on the similar line. They want the list where clients are not marked as client type. We have already provided a list from which they can fetch, right?
So specifically client type blank we've not provided.
Okay, so
That in the full file when they check, they can take a filter and add.
okay, so specific list is not provided from the full file. They can just try to fetch it where the client type is blank or not available, right? Okay. Next is during intraday, if any existing client's primary DP details are updated in UCI, will he be able to trade immediately or next day? It is next day. Then once UCC is validated, is this possible to same UCC gets invalid in future? Is it possible? However, DP details have not been changed or modified. That is the condition he is saying.
Permitted to trade, there are criteria which we have explained. So like 6 KYC criteria, KRA and DP. If you have not done any modification DP, but there is some changes in the other criteria. So accordingly, it will be marked as permitted to trade or not permitted.
Okay. Is it possible to check other than valid DP status on hourly basis so that it will get automatically updated and member will not worry about the validation status?
That comes once a day and then we send out.
Okay, so they have to be cautious while doing any changes today.
And if you want to check any specific, they can check from the front.
From the front end, they can check. Okay. Next is just a second. Okay, some participants are saying that probably some of us' voices are not that clear. We'll try to be louder, participants. We had created error account in UCC. Still, we have to create a separate own account also or not? Participant is asking, they had created error account in UCC, but do they require to create a separate own account also or not?
Separate own account, we are considering TM equal to client code.
Okay, so he's asking error account they have already created. Do they require mandatorily to create a separate own account?
They are trading for themselves.
Then it is required. Okay. Then in NSC daily files, in few cases it is mentioned DO and PAN not matching. What is that means exactly? We checked in one case where PAN and name both are same in trading and Demat account. So basically the question is, I'll repeat, he's asking in our daily files, in few cases, BO and PAN not matching status is given. So he wants to understand the meaning of that. And he's saying that they checked in one case where PAN and name both are same in trading and Demat, and still this was the status given.
The status comes from depository. So in case they're finding any issues, they need to check with the depository.
Okay, and they want to just understand the meaning of that status also, BO and PAN not matching.
So BO and PAN not matching ideally comes when you do not provide the first holder. Primary.
Okay. Next is how to find out if primary DP is marked or it's blank. Is there any bulk file to check? We just answered that, right? Okay. Is it possible to check free status whether DP is frozen or debit? This will help members to allow trading if the frozen is it is frozen for debit in DP. They'll get it from depository, right? Okay. Can broker open multiple pro account and mark account status as its own?
See, ideally, as on date, there's no restriction, but then there, why do we require multiple pro account? Pro account is TM equal to client considered as own account.
Okay. UCC account is active and KRA is not done. What happens whether the trade will be allowed or not, or any penalty will be applicable or not?
If any of the attributes regarding the 6 KYC, KRA or the DP details, anything which is not completed the UCC would be marked as not permitted to trade. Specifically, if we are going on the KRA, if the KRA status have been given as N, then it won't be permitted to trade.
Okay, there is one person who is asking in an NSE UCC file the column number which indicates the account type because they are not able to locate the same.
It's a structure.
They'll be able to identify the column there. Okay. Then the trading member has opened bank accounts exclusively for PMS operations. I don't know whether these bank accounts can be, seems then he has not mentioned further. But basically, he's asking about PMS operations are happening through one of the accounts. Probably he's asking whether there will be any impact on such or not.
Specifically, if there's a PMS client, I would be just elaborating with an example. If a PMS client and which do not have the CP details, would be looking for the Demat details and would be marking them specifically as a PTT or NPT.
Okay.
If they're custodian settled, the clearing will take care for those custodian settled clients also.
Okay, participants, still, I guess we have about 12 to 15 questions more. So,
if there is any repeated question
that we are trying to omit. Yes. Okay. Then the person is asking, kindly confirm whether the closure of Demat and bank accounts is required to be updated in the init portal within 7 working days or 7 calendar days from date of closure.
That's a different
Okay.
question for
Okay.
not today's topic.
Yes. How do we come to know that the client's bank, that is IFSC or account number and Demat data, which is DPID and client ID, is validated or not? Are you validating the same?
We are validating the Demat accounts.
Correct.
In case of a UPI client, we are validating the bank accounts. But we expect the member to provide complete accurate data.
Okay. I guess next question is a basic one, but just in case you can comment upon what client should we mention in error account?
Sorry?
What client should we mention in error account?
Those are for errors, it's not for clients.
Okay. Next question is, when I upload the modification file, I face an issue that the client's 2 banks are in the UCC portal, but the second bank is incomplete and I have to update only one bank and remove the second bank, but it does not get updated and this error comes, which is related to bank account number, IFSC and primary bank shall be mandatory. Okay.
We have sent all the annexures
Okay.
for bulk upload, API, and all the documents. So they can refer it and they can just understand.
Okay. Next is, what will happen if Demat account status is suspend for debit? We are answered. One person is asking, can you repeat the email ID, sir? We have mentioned 2 email IDs. One is uci@nsc.co.in for UCC team, and investigation Ashish, again, if you can repeat the ID.
It's dl-ccm-invsg@nsc.co.in. For anything with respect to client code modification, you can send mail on this ID.
Okay, again, person is asking whether the client bank account 1 is considered as primary or not. Similarly, whether the client Demat account 1 is considered primary.
There is no by default something. You have to mandatorily indicate a primary and a secondary.
Okay. What will happen if Demat account status is that we have answered it? If open proprietary trading account, if we open proprietary trading account, then what should be the account type for the UCC?
Proprietary as in the TM role.
Yes. Owned.
Client type.
Okay. One person is saying, we observed that many a times whose account opened on Saturday, that client DP are not mapped. I guess the question is not clear. Okay. If primary bank or Demat fails, then whether funds or shares will go to client's secondary bank or Demat account or transfer to TM bank account or TM pool account.
As we have told, we will be looking to the primary validated Demat account. So it will be going to the primary validated Demat account only.
Okay. Can you share the bulk modification in UCC? We have already answered that it is available in the circular. Then old Demat account which is in frozen status and holding is lying in the same. Okay, this already we have answered. Then next is if the PAN card name and Demat account name is different, that also again we have answered. Can we get the list of UCC? We have already covered that. For primary Demat validation, which column to check in full file? We are checking the column CCD underscore PRI underscore DP underscore column.
So if you want to have a look into primary Demat account, then you would be looking to the CCD underscore primary Demat account.
Okay, so that is the column that they can refer. Again, error account and on account mandatory or not, we have answered. During trading date, if Demat account status change and becomes invalid, what will happen on that particular trading day?
That particular trading day, the UCC would be trading, but we would be checking the previous PTT file. If the UCC is permitted to trade with the next day, then it can be trading.
Okay. Next is account is not active means what? Primary bank not selected means what? These are the two clarity probably the person is asking.
Can you repeat?
Okay, I guess the question itself he has not made it clear. I mean, he's asking account is not active. What is the meaning? And primary bank not selected. What is the meaning? Probably he's trying to create a UCC and this is the error he's receiving.
So he has to mark one of the bank accounts as primary. That is by default he has to do.
Okay.
And account
Is not active.
Account is not active. Is it a comment from the depository or
Just
that's
try to
been
refer to
written?
the circular once for the market.
He's talking about the UCC status, or he is
He
talking.
has not mentioned, so probably we'll move to the next question. Okay. Is there any file where we can know account marking is blank? We have answered that. Can we get the account type status of the IDs in the NPTT file? Again, we have. Yes.
Just site. So whatever data is there on the exchange has to be exactly equal to the. So whatever data is there on the exchange UCC database has to be equal to the data which is there in this members systems, right? So they can themselves check where they have not updated client type and they can get that. Moreover, we have also given once we had given a file where all the client type was blank. So that has also been given some time back. So it's not that we have not provided that information, but all said and done, they can always refer to the full file and obtain whatever is the differences.
Okay. Next is can you? It's more of a feedback. Can UCI team share UCC trading status file 4 times in a day against the existing process of sharing twice a day in extranet folder?
Take.
Okay, so feedback is noted. Team will check the feasibility. We'll be taking probably 3 to 4 last questions because there are multiple questions which are repeatedly coming. Okay, which KRA status does the exchange consider the primary KRA status or the latest modification status for an account to be activated and permitted to trade?
Primary KRS.
Primary KRA status, right? Okay. Okay. Kindly brief the point which are important so we don't forget about the penalty and other pointers. At the end, quickly, we'll try to summarize. Probably Shanti can summarize in 3 to 4 pointers because multiple participants have asked for a quick summary on that. Then last 2 questions. No, I guess more or less all the questions which are remaining and are in queue, we have more or less answered. So I don't think so. There are any further new questions. So Shanti, I'd request if quickly you can just list out quick summary pointers and we can conclude the session.
So just to summarize quickly, first thing is wherever your primary Demat account is not validated, those UCCs will not be permitted to trade from Monday in the cash market segment only. Okay, so primary Demat account, again I'll repeat, where the Demat account belongs to the primary holder and the PAN is the same as the UCC, those Demat accounts need to be validated. The second part, there are exemptions which we have given where TM to for those using invalid Demat accounts. But nevertheless, for any inadvertent error that has been provided, so we're giving an exemption for TM equal to client, and where error account has the account type has been marked as error for own account, there we are giving an exemption. Custodian participant, whichever are custodial settled trades, whichever are institutional trades, client category is institutional, or client category is depository receipts, those are given exemptions. The next part is members, as per investigation circulars earlier, members is required to demarcate one error account mandatory for each segment. So if that is not done, henceforth, that is how do you demarcate that? We are now going to go by the account type field. So if that is not done, then there will be a penalty of 10,000. So these are the main things which you need to ensure. And wherever we are going to market as not permitted to trade is only in the cash market segment.
Okay, thanks, Shanti, for that brief. One participant has repeatedly posting one question, which probably you answered. So we'll wrap up session with that last answer. Can broker open multiple pro account with same PAN and mark account status as own? Please confirm.
So, as on date, there is no specific restriction, but it is always advisable to have only one account.
One pro account. Okay. Thanks. So participants, thank you very much for joining today's follow-on session. We hope that all of the answers were satisfactory, and we have tried to cover almost all the questions apart from repeated queries which were popping up. Still, in case anything is there, you can write to UCI team and investigation team on the mentioned IDs in case any queries are there. For some of the questions where specific examples were to be provided by members, we again request to share those emails and team will check and come back. So with this, we'd like to wrap up today's session. Thank you for joining again. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
Let's ensure a smooth transition.
Yes, we hope that members will help in having smooth transition collectively and collaboratively. Thank you very much. Have a great day.